expanding the space of life. Xiefeng, transcending the three realms, beyond the five elements. Migratory birds must migrate to survive. A tree that moves dies, while a person who moves thrives. Sitting at the bottom of a well, one knows little of the sky above. Without stepping out of the mountain valley, one cannot grasp the vastness of the grasslands. Without leaving the human realm, one cannot understand the life of heaven. Stubbornly defending Jinzhou till death leads to entrapment, retreating from Maiqing in defeat highlights the necessity to adapt and move forward. Plants and animals know they must expand their living space, and humans should do the same. Even the simplest person in the countryside knows that sending their children to the city is the only way to break free from the constraints of land. No matter how close siblings may be, if they remain cramped together for too long, resentment will inevitably grow. Even lovers who swear, "In heaven, we wish to become birds and fly together. On earth, we wish to grow as two trees with intertwined branches," will find their passion dull if they can find themselves ultimately holding hands while feeling like, "My left hand holds my right hand." Like flowing water that stays fresh and a door hinge that never rusts, constant movement prevents decay. Rigid thinking is like a dead tree, lifeless and unchanging. Life is a journey. One cannot linger in a pleasure garden. Only by braving 81 trials can one obtain the true sutra. Looking back at the past, whether crossing mountains and rivers or enjoying fragrant flowers under the moonlight, it is the richness and diversity of life that can comfort our existence. A blank sheet of paper, with no words written and no green leaves drawn, holds no value. There is fire in wood, and if it is not ignited, it will eventually rot and decay. How shameful and regrettable! Isolation and a closed society lead to ignorance, backwardness, and infighting. Shutting off one's feelings and heart breeds unreasonable and erratic behavior. Rigid thinking restricts one's perspective, limiting their view of the world. Clinging to one's life space leads to depletion and aridity of existence. The size of your heart determines the vastness of the universe. The depth of your thinking expands the breadth of your life space. For the Life-Echanuan Celestials, our life space encompasses not just the human world, but also the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the celestial islands continent of the Elysium world. For common people, however, there is only the human world, and it lasts only a few decades. Observing others' life spaces is akin to watching tadpoles wriggling in a small puddle, which may dry up at any moment, confronting the specter of death. How pitiful! How sad! We must expand our life space. In the article Escaping the Traps of Life, from the chapter of Wisdom, I have already discussed what life traps are and how to escape them. Once we escape the traps, how do we proceed? A person whose ancestors lived in a remote valley can only find a way out by listening to those who have traveled to the plains and cities, building relationships with them, and respecting them. They must be ready to seize the opportunity to courageously leave the valley when the time comes. If communication is cut off and there is no connection to the outside world, escaping becomes exceedingly difficult. In recent years, more and more people have left mainland China for places like North America, Europe, and Australia. These individuals have expanded their living space. We must ask, if they can leave, why can't we? The reason is that they understand the outside world and are always prepared to leave. Once they establish contact with friends and family or other channels outside, they can immediately leap through the Dragon Gate, metaphorically achieving great success, and swim across the Pacific Ocean. Some people are quite shrewd. They live in mainland China yet invest in properties in North America and Australia, laying the groundwork for a backup. If famine strikes China, they can swiftly pack their bags and take flight because they have already expanded their living space. Such individuals are worth learning from. Mainland China emphasizes interpersonal relationships, while places like Taiwan focus on networks. I have discussed the three elements of changing one's destiny, and relationships, or networking, is one of them. Expanding our living space relies on these connections, but to ascend to higher realms of life, we must let go of earthly ties and connect with celestial beings. How do we interact with celestial beings? Where are they? When our heart is pure, celestial beings will arrive. Only when one's heart is pure will the celestial beings descend, and you will know where they are and who they are. Those who have settled in Life Genuine surely understand that today we are completely different from our former selves. Our living space has greatly expanded compared to the past when we lived in cramped 60 square meter apartments. Now we reside in luxurious 1,000 square meter villas. Some unfortunate souls have left Life Genuine, fearing the treacherous path of the guide, and have curled back into their original caves. It's a pity they do not reflect on their own value. How much money, power, or beauty do you possess that is worth deceiving? Is staying in a cave really safe? Wouldn't lying in a coffin buried underground be safer? Even if your painstakingly crafted cave is secure, where will you go in a few decades? We must expand our life space, and the best way to do this is to start with our thinking. Where our thoughts go, our consciousness follows. Where our consciousness reaches, that is where our life will exist in the future.